Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special Saturday edition of the Tracy Show. I am Tracy. Just to let you know, this show usually comes on Thursday, but Thursday I was out. I was just like so tired. I said, you know what? I'm gonna do this show on Saturday, and then I'll just bring back the Saturday show next week. So hope you enjoy it. If you see the topic, I'm trying to let some people know I'm live, so it'll be just a moment. Just let one more person know here. It'll be just a moment. I promise I'll get to everybody. I literally wasn't gonna do this show today either, and then just wait until tomorrow. But I'm like, um, um, I said no, I'll do a show today. So, oh, dang. I'm gonna see, can I hear myself before I get started? Again, guys, I apologize for this. I thought for sure I was gonna have this ready in time, and then I looked, I'm like, oh, it's 6:50. So let me see, can I hear myself on the YouTubes? And we'll get this party started. So we will get started. So today's topic is fundraising for third party candidates. Now, I did this last Thursday, and the response was really, really good. So I thought, I'm just going to come on here and talk, talk about take specific fundraisers I've helped plan and tell you kind of how I did it. But before I get started, let's get some bills paid. Only two of them today. We'll have more tomorrow because, of course, I will get ready in time. Subscribe to this channel. We are now at 418. We are at 418 subscribers. That means we have 82 to go until we hit that magical number of 500. Subscribe. It is literally free, doesn't cost you a thing. Also, remember to hit that notification bell so you can get notified when I go live, and support me on Patreon. Like I said, I was rushing to kind of do this today, so you'll get definitely more links tomorrow. And remember that the Tracy show, this show technically comes on Thursdays at 7. I thought I was going to move it to 8, but I'm going to keep it at 7. So we'll be back on Thursday at 7 with our guest, Ben Davis, um, with the Indiana Socialist Party. So let's get started. Um, and if you want to comment like your questions, I know I emailed some people saying, hey, I was going to be here because they had responded so positively to what I was doing in terms of giving fundraising tips. Not going to go over like all the things that I said, why you have to fundraise, you have to. It's just it's just necessary. We don't have public financing. Not going to go over that. Don't have time to deal with it's people over profit, folk. Y'all can go sit down. This ain't the 60s no more. Um, I don't know where you're living, where you don't think campaigns need money. They do. Um, so if you come in with that, I'm not going to highlight your comment and I'm not going to argue with you. This is in the house, and as he said, hit that like button and share this episode with people that you know, third party candidates, especially that are running for office. So the fundraiser I had picked, now remember, I said there were three of them. There was a virtual slumber party, a virtual house party, and a virtual house party, virtual scavenger hunt. Those are the three that I planned. I planned way more than that, but those are the three I picked because, again, for this type of setting, I figured, getting a space is going to cost money, and the easiest way I know to save money is to have something virtual. Of course, if you have the money to get something virtual, I'm sorry, if you have the money to get like a space, you could always do like hybrid. Um, that is correct. Yes, especially need financial support candidates. If you don't agree with PAC funding, be a part of the solution. Absolutely. So the first thing you want to do, and again, if you want me to, I can email you all the things that I did. So I said I'm going to talk about the virtual slumber party. Now, the way I did mine, I made it only for females or those that identify as females. You can make the slumber party for male and female, but I just said, you know what? I'm just going to make it for females. That's the way I decided to do it because I really felt like, you know what? Sometimes as women, we don't get to express like ourselves. Like we're always like men normally take the lead in political organizing. So I'm like, you know what? Let's do something for us ladies. So um I always try to do because I did this several times. I try to do it on a Saturday night. Um, because and I know that the weekends are kind of hard for people because they're busy. I I probably wouldn't do it during the weekday, like Monday through Friday. I would stay away from it. Um, I Our slumber parties went long. I mean, they were literally 5 hours. So we started at 8. No, I take that back. We started at 8 and I think we ended like 1 o'clock. So if you can imagine, like that was a lot of talking we did. But we had a lot of fun, right? So I would say if it's me planning it, well, no, I'll just tell you how I plan mine. I just picked Saturday. Well, you know what? We're gonna start at Saturday. 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Always do Eastern. I don't care what time zone you live in. I don't care if you live in California, Hawaii, Arkansas, Florida, New York. Always use Eastern Standard Time because remember, this is virtual. So they don't have to be in your city for you to invite them to the slumber party. So you need to first pick the date you're going to do it. Now we're just going to use a random date. And I'm not going to do screen shares because you can't see the words um, that I did because they'll be too small. But pick a date, and I'm just going to pick next Saturday. That'll be our date. So you want to send out an invitation. Um, Definitely use your email list to do that. Definitely use your cell phone to send out those invitations. You can keep it brief. You could say something. If you're texting, you might just want to say, hey, virtual slumber party for John Smith for Congress. Here's the link to donate. If you do an email, oh, wait a minute, let me backtrack. Well, I'll do that later. So if you do an email, you can make it a little bit longer. Well, let me back up. If you do the texting, of course, you have to say virtual slumber party for John Smith, Saturday, May the 23rd, 2026, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you always have to put in the following because the FEC requires it. You have to say, this is sponsored by your name. So in my case, I would put, this is sponsored by Tracy Carson. You have to put that. You have to put that in your text. You have to put that in your email. You have to put that on your Facebook page when you're creating invites. You have to put that. There's no way for you to get around it. You have to put that you're sponsoring it. Or if it's a group of you, like we're the Mothers for Campaign Finance Reform, whatever that group is. I say make it from an individual because it makes it more personal. So again, I'm using my name. Sponsored, sponsored and paid for by Tracy Carson. So you give the virtual fundraiser, the date, the time. You also want to put the link. I forgot all about the link. So you want to put the link. And here's how I suggest to do it. I'm just using Zeffy from now on. It's what I use. Don't care. I use it. The reason I use Zeffy is you put your tickets online. You put the date, you put everything, you create the link, you create a way for people to make their donations. You have to, of course, decide the donation levels. Again, we said that we were going to try not to go past $15, so we're going to kind of stay within that 5 to 15. And then you can put other in case somebody wants to donate more. But we said, okay, for all purposes, we're going to stay within that under 15 and under type fundraising, $15 and under type fundraising. So you do that, and then you'll put something in the invitation that says, hey, when you make your donation, I'll send you a link. I'm just going to say this. They aren't paying me to say this. Use Zoom. Don't use Google Meets. Do not use Google Meet. Do not, do not. I'm saying this more time. Do not use Google Meets. Don't do it. It's a terrible idea. Just pay Zoom. I know it's $16.99 a month. If you like, I pay monthly instead of yearly, but I'm going to switch it and start paying yearly. Just pay for Zoom. It's the easiest way to do it. Everybody has it. You can get up to 100 people, including yourself, in that invitation room. So once they use the Zeffy link to register, you'll get an email saying, "Hey, such and such made a donation for the slumber party on this date." You send them the email. You ask them do not share. The reason that you ask them to not share is because on Zoom you can make them register. I don't do that because if you get a lot of people to register, those are a whole lot of emails you got to copy and paste. So to make it easier, I just tell people, hey, don't share this email. Now they can share the donate link, absolutely, but I'm not too keen on sharing emails like that. Uh, yes and no. My first one is private. But again, for this event, I chose to make it female only. That's what I chose. You can open it up to both genders or non-binary watchers. I chose to make mine private because I didn't want a whole lot of people there. And of course, I went way above 15. I think you were asking for $100, and we did it that way. But since again, we said last week we're going to keep it at 15 and under. You can, it does not have to be private. I chose to make mine private. Hope that makes sense. Um, so you get the invitations out, text, email, Facebook. I don't use Instagram, but I know you have to create some type of picture. So I guess you could just like use chat or some type of AI to create like a picture or an image and then put it on Instagram. So you want to put the invitations on again, your personal email address, your text, your phone list, and text everybody. Facebook definitely include put that on calendars, Facebook events, Instagram. I would say Twitter. I'm not on Twitter. That's the one I did not do because I'm just not on Twitter. But I will say Twitter/Blue Sky because I know a lot of you don't subscribe to Twitter anymore. Like I don't because they just crazy. But a lot of people do. And make sure you tell people, Hey, it doesn't matter whether you live in the state where the candidate is at. I've donated to candidates that do not reside in the state of Indiana. So you want to make sure, even though this is a virtual event, you somehow indicate, hey, you can live anywhere within the United States. Don't open this up to Canada, Mexico, Peru, Panama. Um, I think you can donate if you're Puerto Rico. Don't open it up to anybody outside the United States, including the lower 48 and Alaska and Hawaii. And that's because when you donate, you got to put that FEC thing that I am a US citizen. So make sure that's in there because again, the FEC requires it. There's some tutorials. I'm going to put that. I think I'm going to put that in the link because it'll tell you how to do this. I haven't done a political fundraiser in so long. I'm just kind of going by memory. I'm going to put the link in the chat. Donations. Sorry, guys. Oh, come on. I just had it. Let's see. I knew it's here. Like I said, I haven't done one in so long. Because I just want. Okay, so here's what they're saying. Yeah, letter, blah, blah, blah. Um, yeah, it's the legally safe disclaimer for language. Yep, this is what we want. Um, I know the FEC. Yeah, there we go. The FEC definitely had. I'm gonna put their webpage here. There's like they have bunches of things on here. Uh, where you put this? Okay. Thank you. I'm trying to help. But this is the website you need to go to. Go to fec.org. They will tell you exactly what type of language. Remember, I said you definitely want to put paid for by the individual. But when a person makes a donation, that's what I skipped. So when a person makes a donation, whether it's by Zeffy, Good Butter, GoFundMe, whatever platform you use, and I say use Zeffy because it's free, you always have to put that language of I am a US citizen, I'm 18, nobody gave me this money to contribute. You have to put that. You have to put that. So again, that website where you can go for clarification is fec.gov. Um, yeah, so they really have some things here to do and talk about the reports you had to put out. So again, Um, definitely put this on again. I keep saying Twitter. Well, I won't call it X, but put it on as many social media platforms as you possibly can because your campaign does not have money like that. So you're going to have to make use of uh, those things. Definitely text. You have 20 contacts in your phone. I hate when people say, I don't know anybody. You know 20 people. They may not be your BFFs, but you have 20 people in your phone. Um, yeah, I know I'm wearing a 49er shirt. Blink squat, yes, like this. I'm safe, definitely safe. Always safe with my 49er gear. But you always want to look. at who you know first. And that's why I'm so much emphasizing using who's on your phone. You know these people. Now, of course, they can say, "Hey, I'm not donating anything, take me off the list." That's fine. Um, when you mail out the invitations, let's and I chose next week. So another step you want to take is knowing what type of activities you're going to plan. So the way I did it is I came up with 4 games. We did basically slumber party games. We did truth or dare. We did name that politician. We had testimonial time. That sounds like church, but it wasn't church testimony. It was like, this is why I'm supporting. At that time, I was campaigning for the Cornell West um, campaign. Um, of course, we had this is a good question, is how do you get over feeling like you're bothering your friends or wasted the contact too soon? Some people never get over it. I'm just gonna keep it 100. Some people are not naturally built to. I think I'm one of those people that are built to fundraise for campaigns, and it doesn't bother me. Most people know that when they hear me calling, they know, oh, she's raising money for this candidate because I've already talked to them about the candidate. I've already said, hey, this is what I'm voting for. This is why they need your money. Um, it's something you're just gonna have to get over. If I'm just being 100% honest. Now you don't want to. Well, yeah, actually, you do. You do want to bombard them, um, once or twice a week. But you're. I don't know if you'll ever. Some people will never get over the fact that they're bothering their friends. It's just a fact to me, because I feel like, okay, I guess you could put it in this way. You wouldn't be bothering them if you didn't believe in the candidate, right? This is an important candidate. This is somebody you supported. This is somebody who you believe in terms of their ability to make the changes that are necessary. Are they perfect? No, they are not. Do they have faults? Absolutely. But if you buy into their campaign, you may try it from the standpoint of you're talking about the campaign itself and how the candidate is run and how the candidate needs to cover his or her expenses for like gas and food and transportation and get out the vote campaign and those type of things. So you have to make, if you're not comfortable talking to people, you're going to have to make the case of why you're asking. Like I said, I'm just a natural. I just get right to what I'm getting to. I'm like, look, we need $15 for this candidate. Your contribution, we don't take money from PACs. This is powered by people. This is what we're going to do. I just make it real quick. I don't, and that's because um, I'm so used to do. Like I said, I'm one of those people. I'm naturally built for political fundraising. I actually, en- I actually enjoy it, and the reason I do is because I can talk about the candidate and why they're raising money and why they need the money to do what it is they're doing. We're not asking for millions of dollars, right? We're not saying, hey, cut that food out to give us money. We're not doing that. We're asking, again, for this instance, we're keeping it under 15. Everything is under 15. We want to keep it where people can actually feel like, hey, their dollar, their $2, their $3, their $4, their 5 or 15 is really making a difference. So I hope I answered your question. Um, you had something else. This is so helpful, even beyond fundraising for a campaign. Great way to view any project because you're passionate about it. Right. Because for me, it's like I'm talking about the candidate. I'm talking about the candidate. I'm talking about their platform. And then I'm going to add, hey, we need 50. And see, I don't ask for 15. I'm always at the 5,100. But again, for this instance, we're keeping it under 15 and under. We need your $15 or we need your $5 and we need your $3. I would say don't do if you're gonna do $1, that just costs too much and your credit card's gonna get billed for it. So don't. $1, at least make it 5. If you're gonna do it, at least make it 5 to 15. Um, I was talking about activities. So because this is the virtual slumber party, again, I came up with activities. This is where Google is going to be your best friend. I literally typed in virtual slumber party game. And that's where I got my game from. I also decided to show a movie, although we didn't get to see the movies because we kept talking about other stuff, so I never got a chance to show the movie. But you can show movies on Zoom, right? And again, I say use Zoom because Google Meets is terrible. Teams, if you use Teams, it's okay, but I use Zoom because it's just easier. You can share your screen, show a movie. We did, like I said, we did name that politician. We talked about why we wanted to campaign for the candidate, why we wanted to donate to the candidate. Then we talked about a lot of personal stuff. And this is where, and that's what I wanted, which is why I only invited females. Again, you can keep it gender neutral and just invite everybody you can. I just didn't know a whole lot of men. If you say slumber party, they gonna just come and run for it. That was just something I ran into. Now you can call it a sleepover, virtual sleepover. You can call it a check-in. I called it a virtual slumber party because I was specifically targeting women. That's who I targeted. That's who I wanted. But you can make it sleepover, keep it gender neutral. It works just the same. And remember, because it's virtual, those participants don't have to live in your state. They can be anywhere. They don't have to be in your state. They can be in New York, they can be in Florida, they can be in Texas, they can be in anywhere in the United States, which includes Alaska and Hawaii. The other thing that you'll want to do is if you this works only if you have like Snapchat, TikTok. Well, no, this can work on all your social media platforms. You want to make a post every, let's just say that May the 23rd is like a month away. It's next week, but let's just say that May the 23rd is a month away. You want to make a post at least Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. You don't want to do it every day, but you want to do it enough where people know you're having the event. So you could just put, and it's a Facebook page, so don't go too much in detail. You just say, let me give you a good example. Let me give you a good example. And this is where, I'm sorry, AI is going to be your friend. I know people hate AI, but I find it useful. Um, so I'm going to just give you an example. I might, if it's short enough, I'm definitely saying make a post. Um, yeah, basically, you want to you can say you're invited to our virtual sleepover, grab your pajamas, your snacks, your blankets, your best smiles because it's time for a night of virtual fun, games, laughter, music, and memories. Join us for an evening filled with games, laughs, music, karaoke, snacks, fun conversations, surprise activities. You put the date, you put the time, and then you put that Zephy um link. And of course, you put sponsored by da 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 da. And then you put lastly, invite your friends and get ready for a cozy night that you won't forget. I'm gonna actually, I'm hoping I can put this in. This may be too much to put in. We're gonna copy the link and see, can I put the link in here? So if you go to this link, then I'm about to put, if you go to this link, I put in something. Do this at least 3 times a week. So that first 4 weeks out, you do it either every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, which is what I recommend, or you can do it Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Then that very next week, you'll add another day of the week. Then the third week, you'll add another day of the week. And then by that last week, that's when you start posting every single day. Um, okay, now this is the one because again, here's how I'll read this question and then I'll respond. Do you recommend something like StreamYard? I ask because you don't have to post a video, but you can still have a meet. You can use StreamYard. I don't like using StreamYard for this because I always ask the ladies coming, hey, dress in your sleepwear. And I didn't really feel comfortable putting women out there in like, because I like wore hair curlers and pajamas. That's literally what I had on. You can use StreamYard, just don't use Google Meets. That's the only thing I'm saying. Don't use Google Meet. You can use StreamYard. I say Zoom because everybody uses Zoom, but you can use StreamYard. You just create the link. Now, what you want to be careful of is when you're using your StreamYard, um, you know, I'm gonna take back, I'm not gonna even say what I was about to say because you can do that. You 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 can use StreamYard. I'm not a fan of it if it's just one gender. Now, if all the participants are okay appearing with like I had on hair rollers and a bonnet and a robe and pajamas, I wasn't really comfortable going live. But if they're comfortable going live, I don't see why you couldn't use StreamYard. I'll leave the answer at that. But again, for the Facebook posts, this is Facebook, Instagram, um, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads, any social media, TikTok. This is what you want to say. So this gives you a good example. Yeah, see, we recorded ours. I recorded ours and I told everybody, hey, I'm gonna be because I don't care, I'll appear on camera in a bonnet. I've done it like a million times. It doesn't matter to me. But I recorded ours because I wanted it to be on the website and say, hey, look, this is what Dr. West could look and say, this is what my supporters did. You can do the same. So I recorded it with a reason. You can record on StreamYard. Yes. The problem with StreamYard is if you're using the free version, you can only put it on one platform. Now, if you have paid StreamYard, and you can put it on Rumble, um, you can even put it on Twitter or Facebook. If you got multiples going, it'll record it for you. So yeah, that's something I hadn't said. But we recorded ours. I mean, I recorded ours and I told everybody, hey, you're gonna be recorded. The next thing you want to do, I think is important, is to actually pick up the phone and call people. Like, I think the person that's organizing this virtual fundraiser is going to have to be good at just randomly calling people. Now again, if this is the first fundraiser you're going to do, the candidate should be giving you 10 names of people to call. If they don't have 10 names, to me, they have no business. Why you run it? If you can't think of 10 people that would financially support your candidacy, why you run it? For what reason? Um, And again, those contributions, they can stay under $15. We're not saying mortgage your house to make a contribution. We don't take PAC money. And I'm saying if you can't find 10 people that can financially support your candidacy, what you running for? So that candidate gives you those 10 names, or Or you come up with 10 names out of your phone booklet, and the opposite days that you're making posts on Facebook would be when you're calling people to say, hey, we got this fundraiser. No, let me take that back. Don't do that 3 times a week. Maybe once a week, and make it a weekday. This is the time you want to make it a weekday if you're going to phone bank for the fundraiser. If you're going to phone bank for the fundraiser, make this a Monday through Friday type of situation. You do not want the weekend. You do not want the weekend. You want to hit it right around maybe 6 o'clock p.m. And I'm always going to say Eastern Standard Time, but you want to hit that right after people get off of work type of situation, because you're catching them on their way to pick up the children, on the way to the grocery store, and people tend to do that through the week. The fundraiser itself is going to be on the weekend, but you phone banking for the candidate for that fundraiser, you need to hit it Monday through Friday, and don't worry about calling people because you're actually talking to people. Don't be discouraged if people say no. That's one thing I really had to learn. I had people straight up call me greedy, call me, accuse me of putting profit over people. And I had to really learn, okay, you don't have to donate. Don't pressure somebody into donating. Either they'll donate or they won't. It's one or the other. If they say, hey, I can't support, but with $2, I'm saying again, don't go under five. But if they say, hey, all I got is this $2, take it and thank them. And thank them even if they say they don't want to give and they're not interested in the candidate, thank them anyway. It's a Trust me, getting a no is very hard. It took me about maybe 20 to 25 no's before I finally got a yes. Before I finally got somebody say, yeah, I'll donate to that candidate. Makes sense to me. Um, because it's virtual, you don't have to worry about providing food. That's another good thing about virtual events. Um, Again, with the Zeffy, the thing you want to make sure of if you're doing this for the campaign, and I did not mention this, but you want to contact if you this is only if you're doing like a presidential candidate, not if you're doing a congressperson, because you'll have their info, or U.S. Senate candidate. This is only for a presidential candidate only. If you're going to do a virtual slumber party for a presidential candidate, make sure to contact them if you can do it by phone, because some of them don't answer their emails, but contact them and ask them, hey, what's your banking information, or can I make you an accountant so that you can receive the funds directly? You do not want to deal with money yourself. And that's only for the presidential candidates. Everybody else, if you're doing congressional or Senate or city council or mayor, you'll be in charge of the account. You'll see what's going into the account. You'll know what's going into the account. But what I just said only applies to the presidential, doesn't apply to anybody else. Why did I mention that? Because 2028 is almost here. So if you fundraise for and they're not going to say, unless they think you're a troll, oh, you can't fundraise for us. They'll probably have some contacts for you to reach out to. I know that's what helped me a lot when I actually reached out to one of the campaign coordinators for the Dr. West campaign and said, hey, this is what I want to do. Well, no, actually, I didn't phrase it that way. I said, this is what I'm going to do. Um, they gave me a list of contact names and I added my own to them. But again, that's only for the presidential candidates. If you're talking Congress, city council, anything U.S. United States Senator and below, you'll have all those contact information. So I wanted to make sure I said that. So as you get closer, again, because it's virtual, you don't have to worry about food. You do have to worry about entertainment. Like I said, our event started at 8 o'clock and we did not end until like 1 in the morning. So um because I think I went over this. Super important. If you are doing this as an individual, then don't say that you're a part of the campaign. That is a good point. Thank you. Raise the money, keep records, and make a big donation. That is so true. You are not a part of the campaign unless you're the treasurer, the candidate, and somebody the candidate has approved. Because sometimes the candidate will say, no, I want this person to be in charge of my fundraising. But um you always want to make sure that you're saying, hey, I'm doing this on my name is Tracy Carson and I'm paying for this. I'm taking the expenses. I'm doing this on my own. Oh, please, we went over this on our first video. Yeah, we went this one, you missed my first one. I went over this one on my first one. Um, Yeah, I said that's the very first thing a candidate has to do is appoint a treasurer, and they need to open up a bank account that's not connected to their own um checking account or savings account. Always require two signatures. Yeah, I did that in my very first fundraising video. I went over all of that. Um, because what you don't want is trouble, because that's what the media is looking for. There are some serious banking laws you want no problems with, absolutely. And again, it's record keeping. It's not hard. Um, I want to talk about something very important, storing your records. Um, in terms of who's coming, you want to know how many people that you want at the fundraiser. I only wanted less than 10. I didn't want a big group. That's why I asked for more. I was like, hey, we need you to contribute. I'm pretty sure I did 50 to 100, almost. Not everybody donated 50, but I was asking for it. But if you do it StreamYard, you don't have to limit it. You just say, look, I'll send you the link and you appear on camera. Do it that way. I did Zoom. So of course, when they sent I got notification of the donation. I'm gonna say this. I am a big, huge fan of Microsoft Excel. Big, huge fan of Microsoft Excel. I don't like Google Sheets. But if you're not wanting, and they have a free one, they do have a free one with Microsoft Excel. You can go to Microsoft.com. Wait a minute. What's that website? Um, I'm gonna put that in the chat too. Microsoft, yeah, Microsoft 365.com. I am a big, big, big fan of Microsoft. You'll have to get an Outlook account, but I mean, just write the password down somewhere where you won't lose it. So if you go to m365.cloud.microsoft, search, do they got .com? Oh no, they don't. So if you go to that website, you'll see it. You I just love Excel because you can put the name of the person, their email, so you can remember who to send the invitations out to. Because when people start registering, you want to ask them to invite other people, right? So when you start getting names in, instead of saying, oh my goodness, where did I put those names? You set up your Excel document, you put name, email, and then you figure out, you could do it on the same day that you do your social media blast, which again, I said do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, um, in terms of making people aware. But you'll specifically say, hey, thanks for registering. Our goal is to raise X amount of dollars. Do you mind contacting your friends are passing this along to others to let them know. So you want to make sure that when you set up Microsoft Excel document, you're typing in their name, then another column, their email address. And the thing I like about it is you can just select the column of emails and then just paste them into whatever account that you use. That's another thing that if there is, how can I say this and it makes sense? If you have well, here's what I'll say. You need to make a decision on whether you're going to use your email address or do you want the campaign to give you an email address to use? I'll say it that way. Either way, you need to have some type of mechanism where you can contact the people who have already registered for the fundraiser. They've made their contribution. Now you're asking them to tell their friends, and you're telling them, hey, we're going to have karaoke. We're going to play spades. We're going to do virtual Monopoly. You're giving them like some things that are going to happen at that event, right? So you definitely want to do that. You can use Google Sheets to do the same thing. I just personally like Microsoft Excel better. It's just a personal preference. If you want to use Google Sheets, it's free. You do have to have a Gmail account to use Google Sheets. You have to have Outlook to use Microsoft. You have to have a Gmail to use Google Sheets. So you just pick your poison, whichever one. Like I said, I personally like um, Excel. I'm not a big um, Google fan. Oh, okay. I already had that. So the next thing, again, um, you want to do is the day of the event. So this is where it gets really important. So, and this is what I did because I had a whole podcast called Congratulations to the 47th President of the United States, Dr. Cornel West. Every single week, I made an announcement about the virtual slumber party. It was every week. I put up the link. I said you can register. Um, I even the day of the slumber party, I actually appeared with a bonnet. So I'll have no problems getting on online with a bonnet on. It's just something I do. I don't care. Um, if your candidate has their own podcast, ask them, can you appear? Or yes, ask them, can you appear to talk about the fundraiser? Um, and make sure you're talking about it every single time you hit a camera, you're talking about that fundraiser. Like every time. Um, and ask people to share that episode. So again, this is going to go back to the candidate. The candidate probably needs to have their own podcast so that they can keep people up to date with what they're doing. Yes, it's busy. Yes, I know. But again, these are free things that will definitely help. Because, like I said, when I had my podcast, congratulations to the 47th President of the United States, Dr. Cornel West, I mentioned it every week. And I mentioned it at least 4 times in an episode. Whatever fundraiser I was doing, I would mention it at the top, the middle, close to end, at the very end. That's what I did. And I think it was helpful in terms of how successful it ended up being. Because essentially you have to get on people's nerves. If I'm just keeping it a buck, you have to get on people's nerves when you're asking for money. You have to just be like, okay, I'm just gonna just close my eyes and just hope for, well, you always want to plan, but you have to essentially just, like I said, get on people's nerves. Like, oh, she's asking again. Yes, I'm asking again because this is important. Gas costs money. Getting volunteers costs money. Signs cost money. Printed documents cost money. Websites cost money. This is something you need to to be thinking about, because no matter how many times I hear you're putting profit over people, a web designer is not going to care about your $2 looking website to make donations. You have to make yourself look like you're serious. And I know that's a hard thing for me to say, because I was like, I want to look at the issues. But if I'm looking at some website and they're asking me to donate and it's all jackled up and you can't, no, doesn't give me a clear reason to donate, I'm probably not going to give them any money. Yeah, I'm just going to be like, oh, they having what? They're doing what? So you have to look like you are knowing what you do. And you do know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. You just need a little bit of guidance on how to properly do that. And I'm not saying fake it till you make it, because obviously you don't, there are some parts you're not lying to people. Let me put it that way. You're not lying to people, but what you're doing is you're putting your best foot forward. That's what you're doing. You're saying, okay, this is the best that I can do. This is the very best. This is going to be high quality. This is going to look as good as the DNC. I'll criticize the DNC up and down, but I think they have them as a party. Their fundraising website, I'm like, okay, it's easy to read. I can go through it. I can see where local fundraisers are going on, and it makes a lot of sense. You, as a candidate slash treasurer, well, the candidate isn't the treasurer, they're two different people. But the candidate working with the treasurer is going to have to make sure that that landing donation page um looks good. It's free of spelling errors. Dictionary.com is always my friend, because I'm a terrible speller. Terrible, terrible, terrible. You can go through Grammarly. Grammarly is a free one. You can just put in your text. Again, I know people don't like AI, but Chat GP is really good at helping you at least come up with the wording so that it can help you say, oh, well, this is what I really want to do. This is what I'm trying to say. And it'll give you an idea of where you need to go. You don't have to use all the words, but you're trying to give yourself an idea. Um, so a couple of days before the event, you want to send that last email. Um, like the week of, you definitely, this again, the week of is definitely when you want to start making your social media posts. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and even that Saturday afternoon. Because if your event is at 8, because that's what time I started mine, then you want to send out some type of notice maybe at like 5. So you want to send that every single day that last week, saying, hey, the virtual slumber party is coming up. This is what we're going to do. Here's like a little schedule. You're not going to stick to that schedule. I can tell you right now, I had a schedule and it got thrown out 20 minutes in. We did not stick to the schedule. We didn't do half the things I had planned, but we still had a great time. Don't get me wrong, we had a great time, but we did not stick to that schedule that I had. And keep that in mind also. Definitely use that time. The day of. Now, here's what I did, because it's a virtual slumber party. Um, Let me take this off. Uh, um, oh yeah, I saw my sensor. Anyway, the day of, I made the mistake of having a podcast the day I was doing the fundraiser. And the reason I say that is a mistake is because the event started at 8 and my podcast was at 7. So I had to literally like, and I was interviewing somebody that day. So I'm like, and I told them, hey, I'm doing this fundraiser. We're gonna have to really cut it short, because I gotta get off, make one last push for the fundraiser, and then get off and head to the Zoom room. I decided to wear my bonnet, my pajamas, and my robe. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna have time to change. This is what it is. Deal with it, don't deal with it. I wouldn't do that anymore, because that was a whole lot of, like, I felt like I was cutting the candidate short. So if you can avoid it, and this is only if you have a podcast, if the candidate has a podcast and you're going to be on it that day to talk about the fundraiser that's going to be later on that evening, don't push it right at 8. Make it like in the afternoon so that you can get yourself dressed, get your snacks ready. Because you gotta get your snacks ready. You gotta get, your ring light. It's like you're going live, but again, I recorded mine because I want to show people, yes, you can do this too. Um, During a fundraiser, like I said, I didn't use any type of, I had a schedule, like 8 o'clock, we're gonna do this, and 8:30, it was gone. Like 20 minutes in, we weren't anywhere on that schedule. And that's okay because the guests, I kept it small for a reason because I was trying to get conversation, and we had a lot of conversation. We had a lot. Like I said, we started at 8 and didn't end till 1 in the morning. So Sunday, I'm like this, doing this the whole time. Um, you have hard deadline for close. Um, the day after, and this is where it's going to get really important. The day after, you want to send an email to everybody that came or everybody that made a contribution to the virtual slumber party, because this is what happened in my case. A lot of people that made a contribution to the all-female slumber party were male. So obviously, I wasn't going to invite them. They knew, hey, I'm not coming, but they wanted to contribute anyway. So you need to that, I did mine 6 o'clock that later on that evening because I was just asleep. I was like, wait a minute, I done stayed up all this time and I couldn't just immediately go to sleep because I was so hyped up. I don't think I went to sleep until like right after church because that was a Saturday. And so we didn't get done until Sunday morning and I had to go to church and come back. I think I did mine like 6, maybe 3. It was either, I'm gonna say it was 6 o'clock. It might have been 3, but I don't think it was. But anyway, you want to send an email saying, hey, thank you for your contribution. We appreciate everything you've done for this campaign. We thank you for your contribution. This is how we're going to use the contribution. Um, this is how we're gonna use it to do this, this, and this, and this. Um, it's probably better if the candidate sends it, but you can do it also. I wouldn't do both. Like, make up your mind whether you want the candidate to send out the thank you letter. And it doesn't have to be a letter, it could just be a brief paragraph thanking people for their contribution, talking about some of the ways that that contribution is going to be used. You also, is very, very important because they gave once, they may be willing to give again. So you may want to say, hey, we always would appreciate your contribution, large or small. Here's this website to donate. Because you always want to put that. And again, thank them, make it real brief, a paragraph. You don't have to go on all day on this. But I think you got to start somewhere. And that's why I'm doing the 3 virtual events because I think that's where it's just going to be easier. Now, if you for some reason decide, you know what, we want to do an in-person / hybrid, that's perfectly fine. If you use, I would say don't use somebody's house. Don't use somebody's house. You may want to rent, if you got enough money to rent a place, you could just rent like a community center, but I don't know if they do it overnight. If somebody says, yeah, I want to be at my house, let them register first and then give them the address say, hey, the address is coming, and email like the address will be emailed to you Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. Don't give out addresses publicly. Don't do that because you got to like it's too many people out here and people can do some scary stuff. I'm personally for the virtual because it eliminates the expense of buying a place, getting food, da 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 da. It's just everything online. But if you're just one of those people, you just want to have a slumber party and you want it at your house, you can kind of do the same thing, but you're going to have to make your list much smaller and definitely emphasize do not share that address. Because, like I said, it's some people out there, and we want everybody to be safe. Do not put people's address out publicly. Um, if you're going to use an in-person option, um, maybe you could like I don't know. I would think the only place I can think of that would let you rent overnight would be like a church or a skating rink or I don't know if a bowling alley would, but if you can find that place, I would just keep it away from a person's personal residence. It just avoids a lot of problems. Um, that's pretty much it. So I'm trying to look on here to see if I have this information because I did it so long ago. Let me see if I have it. Um, yeah, here we go. Nope, that's a list of people that came. Yeah, I don't have it, but I could make it up. It doesn't. Yeah, but and um you can also use Google to kind of guide you through. Another good source of how to plan virtual slumber parties, giving a lot of people free advertisement here. YouTube. YouTube, like I'm a YouTube fanatic. I learn things through YouTube. I sit down, I'm like, okay, they did what? Okay. And then I kind of change it to meet whatever situation I'm in, because I don't have the booklet anymore. I think I just gave that all to the campaign and said, use it, but I can point you to where I looked at if you want. So if you are interested, you can contact me. Like if you go to my page and it'll say about, and it'll have wait a minute. So you go to my page, you hit my name, Tracy Carson, and then you hit more. Nope, 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 nope. Um, yeah, it says more info, and you click on I'm not a robot, and it'll show you my email address. So just hit my name, Tracy Carson. Um, Click more info, it'll show my email address, and I'll just give you the list of where I looked at because I thought I had that booklet, but I must have thrown it away because it's almost been 2 years. Yeah, it's been almost 2 years. But anyway, I hope I was able to give some insight to kind of the thinking process. Like I said, normally next Thursday I would be picking up on the virtual house party. But because I will actually have an actual guest, I will move it to another Saturday. So we'll be doing two The Tracy shows in the same week. Thursday will be the interview. Saturday, I will come back and talk about probably the most successful fundraiser I did, which was the virtual house party. It is easily the most successful fundraiser I did. It's a lot of work, but it was very well worth it once, and I think I got this one. Yep, I sure do. Now I got this one. So you'll get this one. But remember, if you want to contact me with your questions about fundraising, I'm more than willing to um tell you I got those. Just go to my Facebook page, not my Facebook page, on YouTube at Tracy Media 74. Just go to my name, Tracy Carson. Scroll down to where it says more about, then more info. You'll see my email address, and I'll give you what I have. The house party, I got all that stuff because I just checked. So all you gotta do is email me. But I'll talk about that next week. So remember, next Thursday I have a person coming in, and then next Saturday I'll talk about the house party, and then I'll end it up with um let's see. We start off with the slumber party, house party. Oh, talent show. I think those are the three that I'm doing. Talent show wasn't as successful. It was successful because we had a lot of people come in, but it wasn't as successful. Well, nothing was as successful as the house party. That was the most successful one I've ever done. Um, and I'll again talk about that next Saturday. And then eventually Saturday, I will get to the insane inane topics. Um, but I wanted to make sure that I did the Tracy show because I didn't do one Thursday. So again, next week we'll have 2 episodes of the Tracy show. We'll talk to our guest, Mr. Ben Davis, with the Indiana Socialist Party. Then that Saturday, I'll talk about the house party. And then, of course, I have the Sunday show, which will come on tomorrow. Um, I will be learning more about cryptocurrency because I know nothing about it. So that will be a very interesting show that comes on tomorrow at 7. Remember to hit that subscribe button. We are now at 418. That means I am 82 away from 500. 82 away from 500. I know we can do this. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your frenemies, tell your dog, tell your cat, tell somebody, subscribe. Remember to support me on Patreon. I didn't have enough links here because I just ran in and started doing the show, but I will have all of them tomorrow. Um, be well, and be ready. Have a fantastic evening. Bye bye. Oh, and let me have the last word. Great show, awesome suggestions and guidance. Thank you. I'm hoping that people will get something out of this because again, if I hear profit over people one more time, I'm gonna try not to hurt nobody's feelings because that's not my intention. But yeah, this ain't 1960s no more. This is 2026, and we have to act accordingly. But I will see you all tomorrow. Have a great evening. Bye bye.